Okay, so thank you for joining this call on the advanced features using the OCA ecosystem. We go through a small introduction and then I will summarize the main challenges that we face when dealing with important projects, and we're going to go through them, seeing which OCA modules might be useful in each of the cases. So at the small introduction, I wanted to tell you that the goal of this talk is to highlight some of the OCA modules that we use in our complex retail project mostly. It's not an exhaustive list, and people may use different approach. There's no pretension that the one I'm going to present are the best, but I wanted to share with you what we do over here. The intention is not to go deeply into each module features, but rather to give you an overview of what you can find in our OCA repo. So the main challenges. In important project, you probably get different sales channel and invoicing policy for B2C, B2B. You have to manage many business rules that the system has to handle. They probably get some performance issues due to the high volumes. In complex project, you will also deal with interfaces in EDI. You will have also to deal with some reporting. In the retail, you will have a complex logistic and warehousing flows. And of course, because of the volumes, the efficiency of each users is probably a key in those kind of projects. So let's start quickly with the sales with mostly 3 topics. The first one being the business rules. So the handling of the business rules is really, for me, a key to success, especially if you have different sales channels. For that, you have a very, very nice module and simple one, which is called Sale Exception, that allows you to develop your own business rule check in a very easy manner. And that will definitely help you in handling the checks that the system has to perform. To be noted that a power user can overpass those exceptions, so it will block the confirmation of a sale order, and the end user will receive a very clear message of the exception or the exceptions that is linked to a given sales order. Checks could also occur at line level, and it looks like this in the list view. So you can easily identify all blocked orders that raised an exception for a certain business rule check, and you can quickly see which is the main one of a given order. And when you get to the sale to the form view, this is the red banner that you're going to see with the list of exceptions that occur on that sale order. You could either ignore the exception or try to confirm it again if you solve the exception, and the system will check all the business rules again and might eventually go through or raise another one. It's very easy to extend these sales exceptions to code your own, and it's a very convenient way to actually aggregate all the business checks before an order gets confirmed and all the other operation starts. Another thing that I'd like to highlight is those 2 modules on product variant multi-link and product template multi-link that actually can materialize links between product, could be alternative product, upsell, cross-sell, or whatever, but used in conjunction with the sale exception module I just told before, you could easily handle the product replacement by indicating to the customer service that a product in the current order has been replaced. So that's a very nice way to deal with the product replacement before the order gets confirmed and you get issues while trying to ship a product that has been replaced already. The product variant change attribute value is a small wizard that allows you to update or remove on a bunch of variants some attributes. So in standard Odoo, every changes you do on those attributes will recreate new product with new IDs. And with this module, you can update the existing ones, and that's very useful, especially if your product are synced with the third-party softwares. That's how the wizard look like. So you can actually trigger it from a list of variants. And for each product attribute, you could choose if you're going to replace it with another one or if you want to delete it and that will actually make the magic happen behind. This is a small module, sale by packaging and sale order line packaging quantity. Those two modules used in conjunction is very useful in the retail if you make B2B business especially, or if you work heavily with packaging. It's a little helper that helps the customer service to choose first the package, then the quantity of that package, and the system will compute the quantity based on it. That will lower the mistake and do the math for the end user. So small but smart. Regarding the invoicing, we have a set here of 3 modules: account invoice-based invoicing mode, account invoice mode at shipping, and account invoice mode monthly. So it helps to trigger the generation of the invoices automatically on shipping or monthly, the latter being very useful in B2B context. So you still get the possibility to create manually the invoice from the sale order, and you can define this for each customer, what kind of invoice policy you'd like. It relies on the queue job behind, and it can really handle thousands of invoices. So here is the configuration you will get on the customer level, where you would actually choose for that customer a monthly, another would be at shipping, or you have always the possibility to say manual if you want to rely on the standard Odoo invoicing flow. To be noted that the day of invoicing once monthly could be defined at company level. Sale order line position and account invoice line position are 2 small modules that actually helps the customer to track and reconcile invoice position with the sales position by simply giving a unique position number to each line. Very simple and easy, but very convenient as well, especially if your orders and then your invoice get a lot of lines. That's the second topic, the high loads. So when dealing with complex or important projects, you probably get high volumes, and you need some async job to actually help deal with those volumes. So I don't think I need to present the queue job, one of the most famous OCA framework, and it definitely the best tool to handle this. It allows you to postpone the method calls to a queue manager. It has everything ended to manage the exceptions and the errors, and including the return pattern. And you can segregate the jobs into different channels. For example, one for the long-lasting job that you want to process one by one, and maybe another channel that can handle or perform many jobs at a time. It's really a robust framework that can handle millions of jobs in an easy manner. And if you have the need for that, this is definitely the tools kit that you should use. The next topic is interfaces and EDI. So Simone just presented us the EDI framework, but there's many other things around depending on your context. So first of all, the connector that actually rely on the queue job. So the connector is a framework that helps you build up a given connector to a certain third-party software. It's definitely useful if you have to connect 1 or 2 systems to Odoo. Then that's the way to go. And by the way, here is a related topic about components. That is let's say a part of this connector framework that has been written by Joël, the author of this work, and definitely very useful to read if you don't know much about component usage. When you have more than 1 or 2 interfaces to build, I strongly recommend to use then a standard approach, like for example UBL. And in this regard, we developed a very simple and easy module, base UBL and sale order import UBL HTTP, that allow you to push a UBL XML compliant file on an HTTP endpoint, and that's going to import the order. And that could work from many sources. For example, if you actually using an EDI cloud service like Lobster, but there is plenty of it on the market. For e-billing, we have a simple account invoice export module that will actually dispatch the invoice according to the transmit method of the customer or the supplier. It's integrated with eBill for Swiss companies, but it also allows you to develop your own. It's a simple and easy way to push your module to an electronic interfaces. Then another piece of work is the base REST and the excellent REST log that provide really an excellent toolkit to build up your own REST layer on top of Odoo. And it really provides, as you can see here, a log of each and every call, and you can then filter and group by on the errors that you would eventually receive back. It's a very convenient toolkit if you'd like to speak REST with Odoo. And finally, there's this EDI framework that is brand new, that has been presented by Simone in the talk just before. And that provides really all the necessary toolkit to build up the Rocket EDI flows you might need in a complex environment. Reporting. So reporting is probably very important, especially when you have many data in your system. So first one is probably the financial statements. So here you will find all the standard accounting reports built up for you in a community manner and open sourced one, but also the well-known MIS builder that allows you to build up your specific financial or budget follow-up reports. Those two tools are really powerful and can definitely handle tens of thousands of lines. So those are really essential piece if you like to work with accounting and Odoo. For custom reporting, I definitely love the BI SQL editor. Maybe a bit less known, but it's absolutely awesome. It allows you to write your own SQL queries, and it will actually create views, menu entry, and everything you need to access that view from a menu entry point. Plus, the cherry on the cake, it offers a materialized view for big volume reporting that will be populated over the night, so the user won't wait too much time to actually travel through their informations. That's the produced, or an example of a produced pivot table from that previous SQL view you've seen. So definitely a must-have to handle any kind of reporting on your data. Regarding the procurement, we have the excellent DDMRP repo that hosts many modules in regard to this DDMRP method. So DDMRP combines the blended aspect of the material requirement planning and the distribution requirement planning with the pool and visibility that you can find in lean methods. It's a very powerful tool that would bring many parameters so that you can actually use it in many different business cases. Here you can see a little screen of the list view on the buffers, the DDMRP buffers, and you see a color-coded tags that helps you to know quickly what is the next item to procure. Very convenient to actually manage your procurement if you have seasonality or whatever you are the problematic you used. Here is the form view of one of the buffer, and you see a little pict of that buffer with the green, yellow, and red zones. That helps the procurement manager or team to know where they stand compared to a given product and stock level. It computes for you the average daily usage, and as I already said, many parameters are available to fit many business cases. This is absolutely an awesome piece of modules. Two smaller ones maybe that I found very useful is the purchase delivery split date that will actually segregate the lines of reception depending on the date. So it will aggregate every line of a given purchase order that are to be delivered on a given day, and you will then get one reception per day. Usually that fits many business cases and it's very convenient. A second one is stock request. So the stock request actually allows you to request product at a given location and track its fulfillment. To be noted that it can be used in conjunction with the stock request Kanban, so you can also make it available for consumable product. Remind you that the consumable product will not work with the routing rules, like for example for screw, and that's why I found this stack or sets of module very convenient. Regarding the warehousing, so I split it up into several topics. First of all, the incoming. So here you have the stock storage type modules that allows you to define package and location storage types. And then you can map them to actually teach the system what kind of package can be stored in one kind of location. This work has inspired the version 15 storage type features. Currently, it's available on version 12, 13, and 14 of Odoo. And for version 15, we'll have to adapt it slightly to fit what Odoo has made, because it brings a bit more features than you can actually find in Odoo currently. For the incoming as well, you can find a stock reception screen, which provides a specific view that will guide the user using a step-by-step approach, easing the entering of end-of-life date or lot number and such alike. And the major advantage of this screen is that the next operation will be handled or freed at line level. So you don't need to process the whole reception before the put away can occur. Using this module, every line you process can be directly put away straight after you confirm the reception of a given pallet or package. For Barcode and Shopfloor, so we have the Shopfloor module set that you can find on the WMS repo. It's a very powerful framework that allows you to customize your barcode app, scanning sequence, and writing your own scenario. So it's a mobile responsive interface that provide clean screens for the operator to be efficient. You can configure your menu item and profile directly using the interface, and you can, for each menu entry, choose the sets of operation type on which you want to work with that menu entry. And for each menu entry, you choose also the best scanning sequence, we call it scenario, that you want to use to be the most efficient for a given job. To be noted as well that this stack comes with an access to log of any calls that has been made. And that's very useful, especially in logistics when you have some issues. You can then travel through the logs and understand the root cause of each and every errors. The last important thing to say about this stack is that you have an embedded way to manage all the exceptions that could occur in logistics. Like, for example, you want to skip a line because this alley is actually full because something fall down on the ground, or you can declare a stock out and the system will try to find it elsewhere. You could change a lot if you cannot access to the one proposed by the system for physical reasons, and many other features directly inside the scenario. So the major differences with the Odoo Enterprise version, well, first, it's an open source one. Then it's easily extensible with your own scenario if you want to develop your own. It can process several operation types within one menu entry. Sometimes it's very useful, especially in important warehouse when you have many kind of operation type. As I already explained you can configure your menu entry and classify them by profile, which is usually made by machine type of group of workers, so they can only access the few menu entry that are useful for doing their job. Then you have the dynamic routing and the reservation rule. So this allow you to define the first one, the reservation rule allow you to define the sequence of the zones in which you prefer to reserve your goods within your warehouse. And the dynamic routing allows you to split or reclassify the stock movement into the proper operation type. So it occurs only at reservation time and not in a predefined manner in advance as in Odoo standard route. And that allows you to really get the move classified into the right operation, depending on where the goods are at the time you want to make this operation. It's really definitely must have on important warehouses. Then in such a complex environment, you want to drive the operation. So you want to allow the warehouse manager to release batch of operation in a sequenced order, depending on the context of each day. And this is definitely a key success factor in important warehouse to make the most out of each day. So the sales stock available to promise release module will actually help you in dealing with this and giving the key to the manager to drive the operation from the most priority one to the less. When you are in such a context, many operations occurs in parallel. And I wanted to highlight here a bunch of modules that I find useful in such a context. So the first one is definitely awesome, is the stock move auto assign. It relies on the queue job, and it will actually make the move available as soon as it's as it should, right? So it avoids the user to hit the check availability button on the interface. For example, when an incoming occurs, everything is done at every move creation or confirmation. The system will actually check if there's any move that it can free automatically. And it works really with thousands of moves by relying on the queue job stack. Then we have the stock checkout sync. So this will synchronize destination location of the previous move to consolidate your shipment during the packing. So for example, if you pick in different zones in your warehouse and you pack in one place, you would like that all the zones put the goods at the same place than the first one that did the job in the first place. So it's very convenient to consolidate different zone during the packing. Then we have the stock picking consolidation priority. So again, if you pick from 5 zones, if you complete the picking of one of the zone, this module will raise the priority of the 4 other zones for the same order. So people will try to pick that first. So you can complete the order, pack it and complete it, and you don't open too much position in the packing zone by starting many orders at the same time. Then we have the stock picking consolidation priority. So this, no, that's one I just talked, sorry. So stock picking completion information that just notify the picker that the move he just did is the last one of an order. So sometimes it's important to get notified that what you bring is the last one, so you can indicate to the packing team that they can actually start the packing because the order is complete. Still on the parallel operation, another module, stock picking delivery link. So very simple and easy module that will actually report the carrier or the shipping method on all preceding operation. By default in Odoo, it's only on the delivery one that you get this information. Sometimes it's also good to know for what carrier you are picking during the picking, and this module provides that feature. Then we have the stock picking backorder strategy that allows to define a default backorder strategy for each operation type. So by default in Odoo, for each time you do a partial, the user asks if he should create a backorder or not. And sometimes it's not really good that the user can choose this. So with that module, you can actually make it automatic and decide for each operation type what's the backorder strategy. The last one is the procurement auto create group that will automatically create a new procurement group when another point is triggered. So by default in Odoo, if an operation gathers many different reordering rules, they all end up in one big fat stock picking, and that makes it almost impossible to cancel or finalize it. If anything wrong occurs and you have one line to cancel, if you have hundreds of lines in one stock picking, it starts to be very complicated. So with this module, you always end up with one per picking, which makes the life much easier in case of issue. Then regarding the delivery, we have the delivery package fee. So this module allows you to add a fee for each package you ship. So for example, you may have a fee per pallet, or for, in that case, a thermo box that will keep your goods cold. And if you want to charge a fee to your customer, you can use that module. And for each package of this type that you're going to ship, you will add a line in the sale order to invoice your customer the defined fees. I continue with the delivery. So delivery carrier price list. So mostly in B2B business, you might have different pricing for your shipping for different kind of customer. And by default in Odoo, the delivery product is always charged with a given price. And if you use that module, you can define a price on the price list for that product, and it will be used. So every customer will be invoiced his shipping fee depending on its own price list. And then we have the shipment advice. This is still in the delivery topic. That allows you to schedule your truck delivery and their load. So that's the calendar view where you can actually see the different shipment advice. And that's the form view of a given shipment advice. From here, you will be able to print the loading list. And it supports two workflow. Either you work on planned shipment, so you planned what order will go in which shipment, and then the operator has to actually realize the plan, or it can work on an unplanned mode where the operator will create a shipment advice on the fly and put everything he can in the truck and close it at the end, and he will get his loading list for the truck driver. Still in the warehouse, we have the stored vertical lift module set that allows to connect to vertical lifts such as Cardex or alike, when producing a screen with a tray and all the cell that you have on each and every tray, and indicating the user where he should pick or put the goods. So if you have to deal with the automated lift, I strongly advise you to take a look at this module. Still in the physical interface, we have the stock measuring device that allows you to actually connect measurement machine to Odoo and fulfill package dimension automatically out of it. And lastly, you have the based report to printer that allows Odoo to talk to a CUP server and directly print reports on them without going through a PDF step in between. The printer can be defined globally per user or per both user and report. And regarding all the rest, some module I like that I could not classify in any other topic. So you have the server environment that allows you to manage different environments like staging, production, development, and etc. That will prevent you or anyone to do real action on a dev or staging server, for example. So in that case, each environment can store different value parameter, for example, for the mail gateway or whatever other credential. On the UX side, you have the excellent Web Advanced Search that allows the user to define powerful search criteria traveling through the model and relation of Odoo. This is an absolute must. If you have many data, you can do a lot of things with that little module. It's very smart and very useful. You also get the Web M2X option manager that can define per model if you want to allow or not the quick create. So the quick create is really nice, but sometimes it's also a nightmare. So this module allows you by model to choose if you want it or not. The mass editing, that's a well-known one as well, that can be defined at model level, and you can choose which field can be updated in batch, and then you create a menu action entry for it, and the user will be able to update your data at the wall by batch. So I'm reaching the end of this talk. So as we have seen, the OCA provide really a lot of reliable features to successfully make important projects in many industries. It covers the major applications, sales, purchase, stock, accounting, and reporting. And I must also say that most of the presented work here is there for several, if not many years. And therefore, it shows that they are very well supported by a broad community. And if you do not know about it, I think you should start using them. Voila, I'm done for this talk. I see we're a bit short on time for the question, but maybe we can join the discuss rooms if you have any. People are still there. Alexandre, I don't know who is the, yes?
Here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I hear you.
Normally, Siboney should be chairing, but I'm not sure
I do.
Is. You are? Okay, so I'll let you chair and I take care of preparing the next talk.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. So thank you, Joël, for your presentation.
Welcome.
Let me check if there's any question. I don't see any on
I
Zoom.
just have a question to ask, a short, brief one. Can we make sure that this talk is somehow featured, because it's very important for project managers and for people that start out with projects to know about these modules in a single presentation. So I'd like to feature that on the website or somewhere else as a starting point.
Good point. Mr. President, take note.
I take note.
Thank you, Joël.
No, you're welcome.
We have to redo all the website map now.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, then we have to integrate it there. It's a good starting point.
Yeah.
So I didn't see many useful accounting modules in your presentation, Joël.
Well, you see, I had to choose a bit because there was so many useful modules in this OCA. The choice was really tough, huh?
Indeed. Or it's because you don't like accounting like me.
No, but I wanted to highlight a bit the retail. You see, the accounting part is there for a while, and people probably know a bit that stack a bit better. So I wanted to highlight a bit maybe the less known ones. That was my take.
Virginie says that Miss Builder is enough for accounting.
Yeah, I mentioned it. Yeah. That one you cannot.
So I'm checking on YouTube. Seems there is nothing new. So feel free to back Joël in the chat.
Yes, exactly.
And then I think we can pave the path for, again, Sébastien Beau, with the next talk. Thank you, Joël.
You're welcome.
Have fun.
You.
Ciao.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.